Tracy Morgan has spent decades being one of comedy's most unmistakable voices, raspy, explosive, unpredictable, and instantly recognizable. From Saturday Night Live to 30 Rock to sold-out stand-up tours, Morgan's persona is so bold that it practically dares other comedians to try imitating it. And many have. But while impressions can sometimes feel like caricatures or cheap shots, Morgan is making it clear, there's one impression of him that he genuinely loves. In a recent candid moment, the comedy legend revealed which Tracy Morgan impression he finds the most flattering, and his reaction was pure Tracy, joyful, loud, and full of appreciation. That one, I love it. Morgan didn't hesitate when asked about comedians impersonating him. While plenty of performers have tried to capture his unique cadence, bug-eyed expressions, and off-the-rails delivery, Morgan said there's one impression that truly gets it right. Rather than feeling mocked, he feels honored. That one, I love it, Morgan said, grinning. When somebody can do you and you know they're doing it from a place of love, that's respect. The key, according to Morgan, isn't just accuracy, it's intention. He can tell when an impression is rooted in admiration rather than ridicule. When a comedian understands not just how he sounds, but who he is, Morgan says it hits differently. Why Tracy Morgan is so hard to imitate. Imitating Tracy Morgan isn't just about copying a voice. His comedy style blends exaggerated confidence, absurd storytelling, emotional vulnerability, and a kind of surreal logic that somehow always lands. It's chaotic, but it's controlled chaos. Morgan's speech patterns jump between sharp punchlines and rambling monologues. His facial expressions are just as important as his words. And his energy, wild, fearless, and unpredictable, is nearly impossible to replicate. That's why Morgan says he can spot a weak impression instantly. A lot of people try to do the voice, he explained. But they don't do the heart. You gotta do the heart. The difference between mockery and tribute. Morgan has been in the industry long enough to know that impressions are a rite of passage. If people are imitating you, it means you've made an impact. Still, not all impressions sit well. Some exaggerate his persona to the point of absurdity, stripping away the humanity behind the humor. Others lean too heavily on stereotypes. Those, Morgan admits, don't exactly warm his heart. But the impression he loves. It captures his rhythm, his joy, and his fearlessness without reducing him to a joke. That's somebody who studied me, Morgan said. They watched me. They respect me. A career built on being unapologetically himself. Tracy Morgan's appreciation for a good impression reflects something deeper about his career. He has always been unapologetically himself. He didn't sand down his edges to fit a mold. Instead, he turned his so-called, too much, energy into his greatest asset. From his breakout years on SNL to his iconic role as Tracy Jordan on 30 Rock, Morgan played versions of himself that were exaggerated but rooted in truth. Even after surviving a near-fatal car accident in 2014, Morgan returned to comedy with renewed gratitude and perspective, often weaving his recovery into his routines. That authenticity is what impressionists struggle to capture, and what the best ones understand. When comedy becomes a compliment. For Morgan, a great impression is more than a laugh, it's validation. When somebody does you right, it's like looking in a funny mirror, he said. You see yourself, but bigger. Louder. And it's beautiful. He also pointed out that comedy has always been about borrowing, remixing, and paying homage. Every generation builds on the last. Morgan himself grew up watching and learning from comedy greats, absorbing their timing and fearlessness before finding his own voice. So when today's comedians channel him, he sees it as part of that tradition. Fans agree. Imitation is the ultimate compliment. Fans quickly echoed Morgan's sentiment, praising the impression he singled out as one of the few that truly feels authentic. Many noted that the best impressions don't just make people laugh, they make them think, wow, that really is him. Others applauded Morgan for his generosity, pointing out that not every star is willing to embrace being impersonated so openly. That's confidence, one fan wrote. You have to really know who you are to enjoy someone else playing you. Still writing his legacy. At this stage of his career, Tracy Morgan isn't chasing approval, but moments like this show how much he values respect. He knows the difference between being laughed at and being laughed with. And when an impression lands the right way, he's happy to give credit where it's due. I love it, Morgan said again, laughing. Keep doing it. Just do it right. In a world where impressions can sometimes cross the line, Tracy Morgan's response is a reminder that comedy, at its best, is rooted in understanding, admiration, and joy. And when someone gets Tracy Morgan right, even Tracy Morgan can't help but smile.